I see, you're finally awake. The roads to Chateau Metier must truly be in disrepair with how exhausted you were. I trust you slept soundly? There were no disturbances? Wonderful, my dearest guest. You will be pleased to learn that I have kept my promise and had the servants prepare only the finest of breakfasts for you. I've had them lay it out for you in the dining hall, and I myself shall be showing the way there. Yes, well, fortunately my business out of the castle has been postponed for at least a few hours. More than enough time for me to treat you to a good meal. Think nothing of it, dearest guest. This is, after all, my manor, and as long as you remain here, you will remain my highest priority. Dear guest, I must ask that you allow me a few small concessions. I can promise that all your questions will be answered in time. But first, perhaps we can enjoy a breakfast together. My dear, one would almost think you averse to my company. I'm sure you could find your way to the dining hall well enough without my guidance, but there's no telling what trouble you might get yourself into along the way. I hope you'll forgive my frankness, but I am a man rather fond of my privacy. The manor is home to many old family secrets, some of which could be considered rather disgraceful. My lineage, like most nobility, is fraught with mistakes. I'm certain you understand, yes? I would hate for you to stumble upon some old records of past sins and think ill of me as a result. Besides which, as I told you last night, the cellars and underground caverns are not to be ventured into by any means whatsoever. With all the twists and turns, you could quite easily find yourself lost in a part of the manor you ought not to be in. But enough questions for now. Breakfast awaits. The servants? Oh, you needn't worry about them. I've sent them out of sight for the time being. The whole purpose of such folk is to remain neither seen nor heard as they go about their duties. My lovely and esteemed visitors shouldn't be bothered by such lowly and unsophisticated individuals. This way, through these doors here. I've wasted no expense on your luxury, dearest. Have a seat, and I shall go over your selection. The full continental breakfast is here for your enjoyment, and I insist that you eat until you are sated. I haven't had the pleasure of entertaining guests in a long, long time. My cooks were not quite certain how you take your eggs, and of course it would have been rude to wake you, and so I had a little of everything prepared. Some of these particular recipes may even be unknown to you. I understand government couriers are still members of the armed forces, despite your station as messengers over soldiers. Rations must be tight after the mess of the revolution and the formation of the Senate. Who knows how long it's been since you had a proper meal? Beneath these covers here you will find bacon, pork sausage, an assortment of chilled fruits and cheeses, and my personal favorite, the buttered crumpets. Oh, my dear, you are too sweet. I have already dined before you awoke. I beg that you forgive my ill manners, but there is much for me to do today. On any other day, I would of course take my breakfast alongside you. As it is, I am more than happy knowing that you are satisfied with our hospitality. Oh, a very intelligent question. I would expect nothing less from a government courier. Investigation for the state is another of your duties, if I am not mistaken. All of our crops are grown here in the valley. Per the old traditions, I receive a tithe. Per the old traditions, I receive a tithe from those filthy country folk in the hamlet in exchange for the services I provide to them. Notice the exquisite quality of our produce and livestock. You won't find their equal anywhere outside of my territory. The soil here is of a very rare consistency and composition, you see. That, alongside a few of our own little secrets, is what brought my family line into our fortune and status. Of course, with all the hubbub in the capital, I can understand how he might be forgotten during that nasty business of beheading Reuben. In any case, I do hope that you will enjoy your breakfast. I would, of course, spend more time with you, but I must be off on that pressing business of mine. Once you have finished eating, you may feel free to entertain yourself in the library and courtyard, both of which can be found adjacent to the main hall just outside. You will, I trust, not disobey my request. It would be terribly poor manners to go poking about where you oughtn't while you remain a guest in my house. I understand your suspicion, it is perfectly reasonable, and I vow to give you a full tour of the manor and grounds when I return this evening. Until we see one another again, my lovely guest, enjoy yourself.